Have you ever felt like the world is changing faster than you can keep up? Well, you're not wrong. What if I told you we're living through a transformation so big, so profound, it's going to make the invention of the steam engine or the computer look like a practice run? It's not science fiction. It's happening right now. It's called the Fourth Industrial Revolution.
And that's a pretty huge statement, right? It comes from Klaus Schwab, the guy who founded the World Economic Forum. And he's not just being dramatic. This isn't about getting a few new cool gadgets. No, this is a fundamental, ground-up rebuild of how we live, how we work, and how we relate to each other. So what is this thing exactly? Well, if you remember one word, make it this one: fusion. It's all about the lines blurring between our physical world, our digital world, and even our biological world. Think about the smartwatch on your wrist. It's a physical object, right? But it's running on digital software, and it's constantly monitoring your biology. That's it. That's the fusion of worlds right there in action, and it's happening everywhere.
Okay, so it's a fusion of worlds, but what makes this so different? Why isn't this just, the next version of the digital revolution we've been living through? Well, it all comes down to three key things that set this era completely apart from everything that's come before.
All right, so here's the breakdown. Here's what you really need to get. First, the speed. This thing is moving at an exponential pace. It's not a straight line of progress, it's a curve that's going almost straight up. Second, it's reach. It's not just changing one or two industries, it's changing everything. Our jobs, our social lives, even how we think about ourselves. And third, it's not just changing parts of the system, it's completely rewiring the whole thing, from global trade to local government.
And if you need proof, just look at this timeline. The gap between these massive, world-changing revolutions is getting shorter and shorter. What used to take a century now happens in just a few decades. Seriously, we're living in the fastest period of technological change in all of human history.
So, what's the engine behind all this speed? What's fueling this thing? It's a whole cocktail of incredibly powerful new technologies, these megatrends that we can basically group into three main buckets.
So we've got the physical, the digital, and the biological. But here's the real kicker. They aren't separate things. Think of them like a set of massive, interlocking gears. The physical gear turns the digital one, which turns the biological one, and they all power each other up, creating this unstoppable engine of change.
Let's start with the physical stuff. We're talking about self-driving cars that are already on our streets in some places. We're talking about 3D printers that are building everything from life-saving medical devices to entire houses. And robots so advanced, they're not just replacing people on an assembly line. They're working right alongside them.
And in the digital realm, whoa, the change is just as mind-bending. The Internet of Things, that's not just a buzzword anymore. It's about connecting billions of devices, from your coffee maker to an entire city's power grid, into one giant intelligent network. And then you have things like blockchain, which is this super secure way to record, well, anything. That could totally change finance, voting, you name it.
And then we get to the biological side. And honestly, this stuff is straight out of science fiction. The cost of mapping out your entire genetic code has fallen so fast it's almost free. That's opening the door to truly personalized medicine. We're literally learning how to edit DNA and even unlock the secrets of our own brains with new technologies. It's incredible.
Okay, so we've got all this incredible, almost unbelievable new tech. But what does it all mean? Like, for you and me? For our jobs? For our futures? This is where it really hits home.
This slide right here, this tells a story that'll stop you in your tracks. Back in 1990, the big three car companies in Detroit were worth about $36 billion, and they employed 1.2 million people. Fast forward to 2014, the top three tech companies in Silicon Valley were worth over $1 trillion. That's 30 times more, but they employed only 137,000 people. Think about that. We're creating way more wealth with way fewer people. The old rules of the economy are just gone.
So, the big question, right? Is a robot coming for your job? Well, research from Oxford gives us a pretty clear hint. Look at the left. If your job is a lot of routine, predictable stuff, like data entry or telemarketing, the risk of automation is high. But then look at the right. Jobs that need complex problem solving, real creativity, deep social and emotional intelligence, those jobs are much, much safer.
The message is loud and clear. The skills that are going to be in high demand are the things that make us uniquely human. It's not about raw physical ability anymore. It's about your ability to solve messy, complex problems, to work with others, to be creative, and to communicate. That's the new currency in the job market.
So the world is changing, fast, and the skills we need are changing with it. Now, it's easy to feel like this is all just happening to us, like we're just along for the ride. But here's the thing.
That couldn't be further from the truth. We actually have an incredible opportunity to decide what happens next.
And this right here, this is probably the most important thing to remember. Technology isn't some unstoppable force of nature. We are in the driver's seat. We don't have to just blindly accept it or reject it. We get to guide it, to shape it, and to decide how these powerful new tools are actually used.
And that brings us right here to the final, most important question of all. Are we going to use all this amazing technology to build a future that's more fair, more inclusive, and more human? Or will we let it create a world with even bigger divides? The revolution is already here. The choice is ours to make.